Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Please come, let's pray together. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana bhavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Almighty, who is omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent, to such a divine Lord, we together, with all Shraddha and complete surrender Prapatti, offer our humble salutations to seek His grace, His mercy, His blessings, His compassion, His love, His forgiveness, His strength. O Lord, bestow upon us the divine qualities like Shraddha, Jnana, Vairagya, only and only to understand Thy true nature. And bless us that at the end of our lives we reach Your holy feet. Om Tat Sat. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Today we are on our Divine Discourse number 279, the 24th of April 2022. Swasti Shri Shubhakrit Nama Samvatsar Uttarayan Vasantarut Chaitra Mas Krishna Paksh Navami Shravana Nakshatra Shubha Yog and Taitula Karane. on this auspicious day, an auspicious time of the evening, we make a firm resolve in our minds. Na ham karta, hari karta, hari preranaya, hari prityartha. That whatever is happening in our lives is only and only at the behest of the Supreme Lord. Each and every occasion, incident, circumstance, happening, all this is only to uplift my soul from this ocean of births and death. I accept every aspect as thy divine grace, cheerfully experience it as thy prasad. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, the divine grace is really showering. We are now moving on to the next chapter. Chapter 14, Guna Traya Vibhaga Yoga. See, the bondage what we talk about for a human soul, for its liberation it has to cross several gates. And now, the ultimate gate, what the Shastra says, one getting caught in the trap of the three gunas. The three gunas are the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So now, these three gunas, they encompass the jiva to be in the world of samsara. So now here the Lord tells us, he explains in detail as to what these gunas mean and how one can overcome these gunas. That's what we'll be learning in this entire chapter. Now, before going to this chapter, let's understand the glory of the Bhagavad Gita and some other vital points so that we'll be able to appreciate what is being told over here. Okay, so let's get to that and then we'll slowly come on to this chapter. Now, apart from the introduction what we'll have today, we have one question which is raised by Shweta Ganguly, and it's also, I think, Mrs. Durga Suri, she also was expressing that she had the same kind of thoughts. So it's good, we will clarify that at the end of the session. And one more important aspect which we'll be doing today is, in the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana, today we'll be incorporating an addition to our meditation, which will be the divine secrets to self-realization. What Lord Krishna told us in the last 8 verses, he gave it as dictums. Now precisely those 8 verses concept has been made into a 3 minutes recording, and we will do it in the process of our dhyana. And then I will share this with all of you on the group. And I would advise you, as I mentioned to you, that the most powerful period of our entire 24-hour day and night would be when we are going to sleep and as soon as we get up. So that is when the brain is in the theta state, where the lowest number of cycles per minute are happening. The brain electrical impulse cycles are happening in the brain. So that will be where directly that knowledge will go into your subconscious mind. So what we basically need is to change our conditioning of the mind. We have all been conditioned that I am the body, I am the mind, I am this jiva. and I have these attachments, these possessions, this family, all this world what we have created. Now that has to be superimposed by this divine knowledge. So we'll be utilizing that, and slowly it should become as you understand that you are the body and mind as of now, with the same level of understanding and that gut feeling, you should be able to tell yourself that I am that super consciousness. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi, or Prajnanam Brahma. These Mahavakyas should become that experience what we are understanding of ourself as of today. So that's what our aim is. Now we'll move forward. So here, if you see any field of knowledge, it takes up a particular segment and it explains in detail. Like as we all have learnt in our lives that there is a field of knowledge, like say there's biology, there is mathematics, there is chemistry, there is physics, there is geography, there is history. Now, each and every field is dealt in a particular manner, and it is dealt segment by segment. Now, if somebody is teaching you history, he will not incorporate algebra over there, or not talk about chemistry over there. It is separately, history will be taught to us. So, now, apart from this kind of knowledge which we normally learn in this world, there is one field of knowledge which is completely different from all the other fields of knowledge which we know in this world. So, in the Shastras, what they call it as? There are two broad classifications. One is the Paravidya and the Aparavidya. Para and Apara. So, all the worldly branches of knowledge which deal with respect to the created. Whatever we see as creation in this world, now all that fall under the Aparavidya. Okay? But there is one set of knowledge which only and only talks about the creator, and that is known as Paravidya. So now you understand? Paravidya is only about the creator, and Aparavidya is only about the created. ED. See, like now, let's say there is a big gathering, and there in that gathering you are meeting so many new people. You have been invited to that gathering, and somewhere you see a beautiful child, a baby, and you know it attracts you so much that you go near that child, and somehow you try to show your love and affection towards the child. Then you ask who are its parents, and we praise them. Similarly, it happens, you see a nice product. It could be a car, or it could be a mobile, or it could be some kind of a gadget. When you see that, you admire that product. He says, which company? Who has made this? And you try to ask details. Where is it available? How much does it cost? You know, you liked it so much. So there is also situations which we have experienced. You see a beautiful building, a structure. Then you inquire who the architect is. You know, this is a common feeling which we all have. Anything, you see a wonderful bridge, you inquire about this, who has built this. So, when we see anything in this world which is beautiful or attracts your eyes, we without hesitation, we express our admiration and we praise that particular creation. But moving one step ahead, we have really not paid that much attention to understand who the Creator is. Think about it. Small things you see and you get so happy and you express all your appreciation. But we are seeing this beautiful world which is working so systematically. Without that microsecond variation, now such a creation we seldom praise. Not that we don't praise, but we seldom praise. And the sad part is that our education system, it talks only about the aparavidya. Aparavidya is one that which is created. Okay. So this vidya is about different courses in the world. There are so many kinds of courses. You have technical courses, you have courses on science, you have courses on astronomy, you have courses on engineering. So all this is about the created, but the paravidya is something which is not available to many. Yaya vidyaya akshara adigamyate sa para. That knowledge by which we can get the essence of this world, the cause of this world and the support of this world, such a knowledge is known as paravidya, which is about the creator and creator. So now this paravidya, what we are talking about, it's only about the creator. Now this aspect of paravidya is completely, it is fully loaded in this Bhagavad Gita, which we are studying. If we ask a question, why only in Bhagavad Gita? Why do you say so? Gita su Gita kartavyaha. So in the Vashishta Sar, they say the uniqueness of Bhagavad Gita is it is the essence of all the values. It does not only talk of any particular God. It is talking more of the one who is holding the Gita, who is studying the Gita, who is trying to understand the Gita. And who is holding the Gita and trying to understand? It is you and me. So this Gita is only and only concerned about you and me. See, in this world, what are we studying? Other than you and me, we are studying everything else. But when it comes to this Jiva, this Paramatma, there is no course, be it in the regular academics or wherever it is. So it is only about the divine power which is encompassing the entire universe. That is what we are studying over here. See, in life we have given so many exams. Right from our primary, secondary, college, graduation. If you notice, first, they teach us. They give us various topics, they give us various subjects, and they explain to us in our everyday classes. Then we have some tests now and then, and finally there is a final exam at the end of the year. So what do? They give you the question paper. Now you have already studied everything. So looking at the question paper, you write your answer sheets, which comes in the form of an examination. But irony is, in life, we first get the question paper, and after that, which means we first get the challenges, and then post the challenges, we get the lessons. Think about it. So to understand this more in detail, say for example, now you want to build a house, okay? It could be in any town or a city or a metro, wherever it is. Let's say you're building an independent house. Now for that you just can't say, you go to some place where you want to build a house and you start building a house. It doesn't work like that. We all know that. For that, what you have to do? First you have to buy a piece of land. Ensure that the title is in your name. You have a proper possession of that place. Then you go to the concerned authority, the municipal corporation authority. You get the construction permission. Then there are various other allied agencies the fire department, the sewerage department, the electricity department, so many agencies. Now what happens is, each and every agency has got their set of rules, and you have to ensure that you follow all those rules, and from time to time you get a license, and then you keep paying fees and you pay taxes, and then you construct. And there are also intermittent periodic inspections. Now this is when you are living a life. Now look at our lives. We are born and we are living. Now, when for a small construction of a house or a structure, if so much of regulations and permissions are involved, think for a moment. You mean to say that there is no regulation or methodology for us to live a life? Whatever we have learnt in our life is from our parents, from the society, from the school. That's all what we have learnt in bits and pieces. Now, this learning is the conditioning which happens to us right from the childhood. And in our youth also we learn, time to time, middle age, and so on and so forth. And mostly this knowledge is all about the created, that is the aparavidya, the worldly knowledge. But hardly we get to learn about this paravidya. So we are totally unaware about the way one has to live. To do anything worldly, we follow the law book, licenses, articles, IPC code, all this. But what about the manual for life? What is my dharma? What are the do's and don'ts, the nisheda, which is not to be done? And basic questions like, what is the cause of my birth? From where did I come? Why I was born to a particular family? Why I was born in a particular place and at a particular time? Unfortunately, neither our family nor our education system focuses on this. So now the Creator has clearly said that I am giving you the scriptures. Along with every life and the world, there is a set of scriptures. You do the way you want. Remember, if you have done anything without approvals, licenses, inspections, then you will be fined heavily at one point. In the same way, the Lord says, these scriptures, they form to be the paravidya. And that is heavily loaded in the Bhagavad Gita, which we are fortunate to understand. Slice by slice, bit by bit, segment by segment, which is a manual for life. For everything you get a manual. You buy a mobile, there is a nice manual for the mobile. You buy a car, you buy a two-wheeler, you buy a washing machine, you buy a mixie, you buy a fridge, there is a big manual. What you should do and what you should not do. But for life, the manual is not that easily available. But the manual is the Bhagavad Gita. Correct, we have the chance to correct our lives, where we can do prayashchit for any wrongdoings which we are not aware, and move towards the higher and higher goals of this creation. And unfortunately, even the devatas do not have this opportunity. So like as we have the amnesty schemes, they talk about, in between the government comes up. Anything wrongdoing you have done, you want to disclose that and correct everything. So such kind of amnesty schemes is what we have as prayashchit. And that mode of doing all this is available in the scriptures and the Gita. So Bhagavad Gita talks, as we discussed, it talks about us, you and me. And of course, you and me are no different than the Paramatma. Now you can say, what are you saying? How are we and the Paramatma one and the same? We are actually not human beings wanting to lead a spiritual life, but we are spiritual beings leading a human life. That in the crux of the understanding is this. There is nobody else other than the Lord over here. So in answering Ashweta's question, we'll be able to get more details on that. So in fact, each and every chapter, it talks of a particular yoga, if you have seen. It takes one aspect and yoga, the word. Like say as you have chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. What is Vishada? His grievance. Yoga. Now how with his grievance one can unite with the Supreme. Jiva, Jivatma and Paramatma. So in this way, we have seen that every chapter is explaining different aspects. Like as you have the entire day, right? During the day, each and every part of the day is different. Morning 6 o'clock, the day looks different. 8 o'clock, the day looks different. 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Although we call it as a day, but you have different appearance to that day. So in the same way, here, each and every chapter, it talks of different things. Now, let's understand. In the Gita, we have this Arjuna Vishada Yoga, which is the first chapter. Okay. Now, it really sounds very odd. If someone is crying, someone is dejected, someone is having a grievance, is depressed, how can this become a yoga? No. Why does it not become relevant or important even if we cry? Which we do every now and then. We all are lamenting about something or the other. But why did Arjuna, when he started lamenting or crying, why did it become yoga and also the first chapter of the Gita? Rather, when we cry, people will scold us. They'll say, you keep quiet. There's no reason for you to cry. They'll give you all sort of advices. And they'll see that we shut our mouth. But when Arjuna lamented, it became a yoga. It became a grantha, and which we all are chanting today. See, that kind of a piousness it gained. So, like the first chapter, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha Ata Pratamodhyayah Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Now this Upanishadic essence, what we see here in this Bhagavad Gita is called as one of the greatest grantha or scriptures for the mankind. But now when you ask why is this crying given so much importance over here, there is a logic. Let's think carefully now. Okay. Now this, as we said, it is about study of ourself. How this Jivatma has got separated from the Paramatma. It's only and only talking about Swadhyaya. It's about talking about us. And more importantly, we also get surprised that here we are talking about the first chapter, and normally when anything good is about to start, which is auspicious, which is a grand opening as we call, which is something well begun is half done, we say. In such a scenario, and with all, when auspiciousness is the key, then why did even the Bhagavad Gita start with this kind of a chapter? And not only that, if you see the very first stanza, the shloka, is from Dhrutarashtra. Dhrutarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samavetayu mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvatu sanjaya. A blind person, Dhrutarashtra. Arjuna crying, and a blind person, he starts this chapter. See, the Gita is So well structured. Now if you go through these details, you will feel amazed. One hand, blind person, he tells the first shloka, and the first chapter is about Arjuna. What sense does it make? So now the sense here is, very first argument for this will be, now Bhagavad Gita is as of now about 5,480 years old. And it is still revered as one of the greatest grantha or a shastra. And as you see, it is getting more and more popular day by day, year on year. Despite it being so old, one amazing part of this particular Bhagavad Gita is not a single shloka or a single word has been displaced today or corrected. From time to time there are additions, deletions, subtractions, but here not a single word has been changed. It is regarded as the taintless, impeccable and complete in itself. Why? Because it is born for the mankind. It is speaking about the mankind. It exactly tells us how a human behavior is. Take other scripts, like you take the Ramayana. It talks about Rama. Mahabharata, it talks about Krishna, Pandavas, Kauravas, the war and all that. Bhagavatam, it talks about Sri Krishna again. The Puranas, Skanda Purana, it talks about Shiva, Kartikeya, Subramanya. Then Devi Purana, it talks about Devi. Vishnu Purana talks about Lord Vishnu. Brahma Purana talks about Brahma. Every Purana speaks of some divine entity, but it is only the Gita which talks of mankind and mankind alone. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanye Shastra Vistarehi. That Shastra which handholds a human. It uplifts mankind. It gives direction to mankind. It corrects mankind. And eventually it liberates mankind. So it's completely structured in a way which is for the total evolvement of mankind. So therefore, Gita begins in the way a human begins his life. See, we all begin our life. How did we begin our life? By being born. When the womb sac breaks open, we don't come out from the womb and we smile and hello everybody, how are you, long time, no see. Do we say that? We come out crying to our peak levels. In the same way, Bhagavad Gita also starts with the first chapter of Arjuna crying. So this correlates that this is for mankind. And now just after we being born, although our eyes are open, we don't know anything. We are looking here and there. Who is our father? Who is our mother? Who is our sibling? Who are the people around? We don't know anything. We don't know who the doctor is, who the nurse is, who the family member is. No idea at all. So in the same way, Dhrutarashtra, although he was sitting on the throne, he was completely unaware of what was happening around him. He was the great emperor. He had enormous powers, but he still behaved powerless. Therefore, he was blind. So we know about Pandavas. He knew what the Pandavas are. Their strength, their valor, their dharma, but never he told his son to correct himself because he was blind. Not only literally blind, but even in the other sense he was blind. Same way we do not know who gave us birth. Even though we are with our eyes, we are blind. This is the irony. So We also started our lives crying as we were born as Arjuna Vishada Yoga, and even having eyes, we were all blind, not knowing, not able to do anything, just like Dhrutarashtra. Then what was the nature of Dhrutarashtra? Dhrutam Rashtram Yena Saha Dhrutarashtra, meaning I want whatever comes before me. Very simple. See, related to how our life is and how the Bhagavad Gita starts. We just want whatever comes before me. Look at a small child. At one point, the child wants to pull everything which comes in front of it. It pulls a telephone wire, it pulls a cloth which is on the table, or it will pull some plate down, or it will, even if there is a snake also, it will not hesitate catching hold of the snake. So it does not know what it needs, what it doesn't need, but it only knows I have to keep pulling things. Whether I need, I don't need. This is how the mind is, which is exactly like what it was, like Dhrutarashtra, who wanted everything without knowing whether I need it or not. So if you see, this Bhagavad Gita started in the same way as our life started. Now recollect. When the first chapter began, literally there were 3 people who were crying. It was, although called as the Arjuna Vishada Yoga, or the grievance weeping of Arjuna, but there were 3 people who were crying. If 3 were crying, then why it was not named after all 3 of them? Now that is explained. Let's understand why Dhrutarashtra cry in the first place. He says, Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvatu Sanjaya. Now his agony is, he is asking Sanjaya in the very first shloka, what are my sons and Pandu's sons doing, O Sanjaya? What a stupid question he is asking. They are all in the war field. It is like asking, if somebody has entered a cricket field, what are they doing? They have gone into the field to play cricket. And while they are at war, one of the other person has to die. As a game, like if cricket is there, one or the other has to win and the other has to lose. So his lamentation was, did Pandu's sons die? That is what he is asking in an indirect way. That was his Rodhan, meaning why he was weeping. Next, you have Duryodhana. Now Duryodhana is also crying. Now what was he crying? Both the armies are in front of each other. Now Duryodhana being the king, Yuvraj, on this side, now he goes on an inspection. And he sees the array of heroes in front of him on the other side. Now that became a course of lamentation for him. He comes to his Guru Dronacharya and starts blasting at him in this crying tone only. Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharyam Mahitam Chamum Yudham Drupada Putrena Tava Shishye Dhimata Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharataha Sudamanyascha Vikranta Uttamau Jascha Viryavan Saubhadro Dropado Yascha Sarvayeva Maharataha. He is telling Dronacharya, do you even understand what your students, the so-called students, Arjuna, Bhima, Yudhishthira, Nakula, Sahadeva, now they have learnt from you, and with powerful warriors like Yuyudhan, Virat, Drupad, and who are like Dristiketu, Chetikan, king of Kashi, Purajit, Kunti Boja, Saibhya, all the best of men. And that courageous Yudhamanyu, Uttamuja, son of Saubhadra. Now this way, all these people have assembled in front of you. Now this is what he is weeping. He says, what kind of people are there? These are all Maharathis. Maharathis? Who gets a title as Maharathi? A Maharathi is one who can handle or kill 7,20,000 warriors single-handedly. That is a Maharathi. Or in other words, he can also handle 12 Atirathis. An Atirathi is one who can handle 60,000 warriors at one go. He can kill them. So 12 into 60, 7,20,000 warriors. Either 12 Atirathis or 7,20,000 warriors. Now, such kind of Maharathis, they are loaded. That's what I see in front of me. And he goes and he starts blasting his guru. What should be the temperament of a king at that point of time? He should cheer the soldiers. He should invoke that kind of courage in them and see that they give their best. But instead of that, he goes on fault finding with his own Acharya, saying, you not only destroyed yourself, but you are also put me into destruction. What a person you are. Are you see? See all who are standing. All are your Shishyas only, your students. They will not only kill you, but they will kill me also. You know at what loss I am today because of your blunder? This way he is blasting at his guru and he is crying over there. Now, if you carefully see, Duryodhana's crying or lamenting was with Irsha and Dvesha, jealousy and hatred. Dhrutarashtra's weeping was for Kama and Krodha. He wanted to know who is winning. He has that desire. Oh, are my sons winning? And Krodha, he has anger against the Pandava Putras. Now comes the third point. Why was Arjuna crying? Why was he weeping here? So, they say, there is a reason. Now, Arjuna's weeping became a yoga. Now, the reason here is, Na kangshe vijayam Krishna, na cha rajyam sukhani cha, kim no rajyena govinda, kim bogair jivitena jva, yesha marta kangshitam no, rajyam boga sukhani cha, ta ime vastita yuddhe, pranam styaktva dhanani cha. He says, oh Krishna, I don't desire any victory. Out of victory I get kingdom. Out of kingdom I may feel happy. All this I may get. But what is the use of being a king and having the kingdom and the pleasures or even this life when the very people for whom you always wish to be with are standing in front of you on this battlefield? See, here he tells Krishna, he says, oh my friend, oh my brother-in-law, oh my Paramatma, I can kill all the Kauravas with half a dozen arrows. That's all. I don't even need Bhima, Yudhishthira, Nakula, Sahadeva. That much confidence I have in me. I may take a little more time to win over the Maharathis which are there in ample on the other side, but I am confident to finish all of them alone. But win this battle? For what? After I win the battle, I get the kingdom, then I sit on the throne and you mean to say I am going to feel happy when I have killed my own uncles, nephew, niece, maternal uncles, grandfathers, my teachers, my acharyas, my gurus. What is this victory for? He says, "Oh Krishna, I am ready to stand unarmed. Let them all kill me and gain victory, and let them take the kingdom. I prefer this kind of a life than me killing them. I don't mind they winning rather than me winning and being happy." This was Arjuna's lamenting. See the difference in lamenting. Why Dhrutarashtra was lamenting, why Arjuna was lamenting, and why Duryodhana was lamenting. In this way, now, if you closely analyze and see, Arjuna's lamenting was selfless. He didn't want anything for himself. It was completely nisvartha, what we call. And there was no swalabha. Self-gain, there was no swalabha. It was nisvartha. But what had happened was, he had drowned in emotions. He didn't have the right understanding. With this nisvartha and without any swalabha, he falls at the feet of Lord Krishna. Although it was foolish, although it was selfless, he falls at the feet of Lord Krishna and he begs with him. In fact, it is explained in the subsequent chapter, in second chapter, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. He says, "O Krishna, I completely surrender before you." He starts weeping. Now he says, "Even my eyes have dried. The tear sacks are empty. I'm not getting tears. I have wept so much. I am not able to understand what is happening to me. And I also know, O Krishna, you are not approving my behavior. Despite me weeping so much, lamenting so much, I know that you are clearly telling me that you are unhappy with my behavior. For that, now, O Krishna, I surrender to you. I should not be crying, which I am doing now. Now you tell me what has to be done." This is what is, see this bhava. Now Lord Krishna now says, "Shri Bhagavan uvascha ashocyan vashochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase gatasuna gatasuncha nanushocanti panditaha." He says, "Oh Lord Krishna to Arjuna, "O Arjuna, you are speaking words of wisdom. You are mourning for that which is not worth to be mourned for." And he tells him, this lamenting what you are doing, it is neither for the living nor for the dead, meaning it's not worth. Why are you grieving? First he says, your grief is for what? Those people who are in front of you, whom you say that you are your dear ones. He says, first get that out of your mind. And now he says, I know that you have also understood that I am not approving what your behavior is. And you are not able to see the things the way it has to be seen. Because Arjuna was saying, Karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammuda chetaha yashreyasyan nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Finally Arjuna says, O Lord, I am confused. I can't understand what my duty is. I am completely enveloped with anxiety, with that faint-heartedness, accept me as your disciple. I am completely surrendering to you. Now this is extremely important. I am surrendering to you. I am not just telling you my problems. I am your disciple. I am surrendering to you. Please give me the right direction. And what is best for me? He says, not only telling me, but now give me what is best for me. Now, this way he falls at the feet of Lord Krishna. He is weeping, lamenting, and he falls at the Lord of Krishna because there is complete surrender and acceptance of the Lord as the Lord. So this Vishada, this lamenting or this tragedy, this weeping, it eventually became a yoga. Now what we have to understand by this is the value of a true surrender. Surrender is prapatti. We also call as Sharanagati. Prapatti is the highest form of surrender. We all weep in our lives. There is something or the other which is bothering each of us. But when we weep, we just weep asking for, I want this from the Lord. But the Lord says, without surrender, it has got no value. It is like that Duryodhana and Dhrutarashtra weeping. But when you weep, if you are really asking the Lord with surrender, then that becomes a yoga. Why I took this whole thing was because we all are after the Lord for something or the other. How that has to be achieved is by surrender. There are great calamities in life. Surrender to the Lord and He will show you the way. And this has to be done sincerely. See, Lord may not appear in front of us like what He did to Arjuna, but He will definitely come through some form or the other. So, anything what is there, a common thing. Now as we started, it started with his weeping, lamenting, and also that blindness. So we also have that in our life. But when you do it with that prapatti, surrender, you will achieve what you want. This is one key note which we can use it in our lives. That surrender. Okay, now moving on. Now this Gita recognizes all the ups and downs of a human, and it has addressed very comfortably for us in 3 segments. 3 segments of 6 chapters each. So up to the 6th chapter we have as the Karma Shatka. Shatka means 6, batch of 6. Second 7 to 12 Bhakti Shatka, and the third one is the 13 to 18 is the Jnana Shatka. And in the Jnana Shatka we have completed the first one. Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga. Now Vibhaga means separation. Now here the Lord is trying to join all these. Whatever are separated. Separation is between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. That He tries to bring them together and tells they are all one. In the same way, 14 Guna Traya Vibhaga Yoga. These 3 gunas which are predominantly in each and every human being, learn about this and cross over these 3 gunas. It looks very simple because it's talking about us and it's talking about the qualities of a human, and it is nothing less than a psychology study. I tell you, for your practical understanding, when I studied this about 10 years ago, you can say now 11 years, that time it was a mind opener for me, an eye opener. I said it is so clear that we all are behaving in these three gunas, and during a day these gunas are in variation. Morning some guna is predominant, afternoon some guna is predominant, then again after an hour some other guna is predominant. So whenever you are dealing with a person, first understand in which mode of nature, guna nature he is, and deal with him appropriately. As simple as, like as children, we used to go to our mom, and if we want something from your papa, what you do? You ask your mom, what's the mood of papa? Mom will say he's very angry now. So then you go away. You don't ask him with whatever you wanted to propose to him. As simple as that. Now here you understand the mood of the other person and you behave. But what is drawn over here is, the Lord is saying, forget about you understanding others' mood. You first understand your own mood and you start behaving properly. That is one big change which you get to know when, apart from using it for the world, you will be able to understand, oh, now I am in this particular mode and it is better I keep my mouth shut, because I know that I will be talking nonsense. With this you can correct your behavior in the world, and also you can rise higher and higher. This is what is important over here. Okay, now what normally happens is, there is no change in the outside structure. Every change is happening in the mind. A person, if you see, outside is the same. He doesn't suddenly become tall, or he becomes short, or he becomes hefty, or he doesn't become thin, nor that he gets an extra pair of nose or eye. No, it is all the same externally, but these gunas act internally on the mind. So this guna is predominant, which we have to understand. Now Lord Krishna explains clearly, each and every guna is having these characteristics. And we have to now, instead of focusing on the outside structure, we have to start focusing on the internal behavior of our own guna, understanding the guna of the other person in the world, and you deal with them. Because we all know it's mind related. 80% of the diseases are psychosomatic, which are mind related only. So if you are able to control your mind and the other's mind and behave in tune with the other person, then most of your problems are resolved. So here Lord Krishna, he starts explaining to us in detail, one after the other he takes up and he tries to tell us. Now I'll give a simple formula. Let's say 2 into 2 equals 4. Then 2 into 3 equals 6. 2 into 6 equals 12. Now see, the first what numerical came 2. Everywhere it is 2, 2, 2. As you go down it is only 2. And in the middle that 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 6. And at the end the result is 4, 6 and 12. Okay. So the first 2 which is there is the person. You as a person. Jivatma. And into, when we say 2, that is the guna. As the guna changes, the result is the effect, which also keeps changing. You as a person is the same. Change in the guna results in change in the effect. So one has to be very careful after understanding these gunas, how you apply in your life and others' life. So in short, you are making your life simple and others' life also simple, apart from you evolving. So this is the beauty of this chapter. Now we'll take up this chapter in detail in the next session. And luckily next Tuesday is not a Ekadashi, so we will have a class on Tuesday. Now we'll come to, okay, we'll take I think we'll do the Shweta's question and then we'll move forward. See, the question is important, which normally it's a good question and useful for others also. So please try to understand this as much as you can. I'll read the question first. Hari Om Guruji. In the 277th discourse, while explaining the concept of Anyonya Adhyasa. Anyonya Adhyasa is the superimposition. You said Lord has misunderstood himself to be the Jiva temporarily and eventually recognizes his true nature. How can the Lord misunderstand himself even temporarily to be the Jiva? Isn't he beyond being affected by Maya? So many divine names we have learnt which say Lord is not affected by any gunas nor any powers of Maya. Then how is he affected by this Anyonya Adhyasa? I hope you all got the question in the right perspective. Now, here what we need to understand is, when we say that the Lord himself has entered by the reflected consciousness into this, as Purusha, into this body, it is he himself has become the Jiva. Because one basic principle is Advitiyam Brahma. There is no two in this entire creation. There is one and only one which is appearing as many in this creation. So this I will take you through Panchadashi, where Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he gives us more and more, he throws light on this. That will give us a better understanding. So, then how did Maya impact him? It is he wanted to be that. Maya is his servant. Maya cannot do anything. So what you say is right. In all the holy names, everywhere, it was shown that Maya cannot touch the Lord because Maya is the servant and the Lord is the master. So here, the Lord being good at doing things, he is extremely good at what he does. So there he has forgotten himself. He is acting. When you say act, meaning he has acted so well that he has forgotten his true nature. He himself has forgotten. It's not the power of any Maya. Okay? So in that context, it is said that he has become the Jiva. Now, let's get some idea of various shlokas, where as I said, Panchadashi, where Lord Bhagavan Shankaracharya has thrown light to this. I'll just tell you all some shlokas and that should help you for your understanding. This is all how the world has been created. Let's take a recap on that. So now, this is the verse 3 of the Panchadashi. Now what he says, Maya abhyasena jiva isau karoti iti shrutatvatah kalpitau eva jiva ishau tabhyam sarvam prakalpitam. He says, on the authority of the Shruti, we come to know that Maya, that reflecting Parabrahman, he created both the Jiva and Ishvara. And this Jiva and Ishvara, in their turn, they create the whole of the rest of the universe. Okay? So he first, through Maya, he created Ishvara and Jiva and Ishvara in turn, they started creating the whole universe. Next, fourth shloka says, Ikshana adi pravesha anta shrishti ishena kalpita jagat adi vimoksha anta samsmara vakalpita. He says, this creation of Ishvara, extends from his willing to create the world to the moment when he himself enters his creation. Understand this. When he himself enters his creation, the world from the waking state to the state of release which follows illumination is the creation of Jiva. You understand? By his own wish and will, he has entered it as a Jiva. Now, next. Brahma adhishtana bhutatma kutastha asanga chidvapu अन्योन्य अध्यास सतः असंग दृष्टा इव अत्र पुरुषः. Meaning, through mutual superimposition, Brahman becomes associated with the mind, an association which is phenomenal and not real. Understand, it is not real, it is imaginary. He is known as Jiva or Purusha. Now, if I have to explain this better, just like if you are in a dream, okay, in a dream you have created on your own world, you are in a particular place, there are buildings, houses, market, you are in a coffee shop, let's say, you are with a friend having coffee, and there you express your sadness, your misery, and you burst out into tears. Your friend says, no, don't bother, this is all a dream, you're actually sleeping in so and so place on your bed, you're sleeping there. You will say, what are you talking? I'm sitting in front of you, I'm having coffee, and I'm expressing myself, and you're saying that this is a dream and you're sleeping at so and so place. You will not believe till the time you wake up that whatever is happening in the dream is true to you. In the same way, we all are in the Lord's dream. Imaginary. Till you realize yourself, realizing is as equal to getting up from the dream world. Whatever you saw in the dream was an appearance. It was not true. But it touched you with the same amount of, it gave you that same amount of joy and sorrow. What it would have given you in a waking state. In dreams, sometimes we feel so thirsty. Sometimes we feel so hungry. We have had a nice dinner, a 4-course meal, and we have gone to sleep. You're so full, but in the dream you are feeling hungry and you're searching for food. Have you not experienced this? But if somebody tells you in your dream, you will not believe that this is a dream. In the same way, now it takes your effort and the grace of the Lord to tell you that you as a Jiva don't suffer. You are not a Jiva. It is an imaginary thing which is happening to you. For that you need that Shraddha, that Prapatti, and that acceptance. You know, a Pandita or a scholar, he tries to learn something new every day. But a student of Vedanta tries to unlearn something every day. Neti, neti means not this, not this. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not this Jiva. That is what we need to practice more than learning things. Okay, now, when does this, now it is said, the next is Adhishtana Amsha Samyuktam Brahmam Sam Avalambate Yada Tada Aham Samsari Iti Eva Jiva Abhimanyate. Meaning, when this Jiva having the immutable Kutastha is the Paramatma as his basis, he wrongly identifies himself with this gross and this subtle body. He comes to think of himself as bound by the pleasures and pains of this world. In that case, when does this Jiva get liberated? Brahma Amsaya Tiraskarat Adhishtan Apradhanata Yada Tada Chidatma Aham Asanga Asmiti Buddhyate. When the Jiva gives up attachment to the products of all this illusion. What are the products of illusion? The 3 bodies. Sthula, Sukshma, Karana. The 3 states. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. The three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. He gives up attachment to all this and he knows that all these are imaginary. Then he achieves the nature of his substratum, the pure consciousness and the association-lessness. This is how it is explained. Okay. I once again took you all through the whole process of this creation. It is Lord and Lord alone. No Maya can do anything on the Lord. He himself has got into this state, and actually speaking, there is no I over here. It is the Lord only in me. Now, whenever you are getting that feeling of I, replace it with the feeling of the Lord. It is not this I of this limited entity, but it is that I of that Paramatma. He himself has become this body. Na manaste kadachana. You say, no, this is my mind. Mind is not yours. It belongs to the Ishvara who has created it. How do you say that this is your mind? How do you say that this is your body? How do you say that this is my Panchakoshas? Na manaste kadachana. It is Lord and Lord alone. He has created the world, He has created the body, He has created various jivas. He is sustaining them and He is in them. This, whatever suffering of a jiva bhava is imaginary. That is the way of functioning the world, that's all. Which again goes by the karma principle. Now you by realization, now who gets liberated can be the question. Ishvara himself becomes liberated. Ishvara is gone into bondage. There is actually no bondage, no liberation. He has imaginarily gone into bondage. Then he imaginarily attends a Vedanta class and he by imaginarily comes back to the state of enlightenment. Otherwise there is pure consciousness all the time. This is imaginary. Everything is imaginary here, which happens in a dream. Now that dream is only for our clear understanding. So follow these simple techniques and you will be able to get over this. Okay. Come. Now we will go to Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. We'll come to verse 25 now this time. Yeah. First, let's read the shloka, verse 25. Avartano nivrittatma samvritas sampramardanaha ahas samvatsakaro vanniranilo dharanidaraha. Avartanaha. One who is the unseen dynamism behind the ever-whirling wheel of time upon which play the endless drama of birth and death. Avartanam means the repetition of these changes in the experience of samsara, and the one mighty Lord, in whose presence alone the factors of matter start their third dance of decay, is indicated here as Avartanaha. As the great power behind the continuity of change in the world of phenomena. In the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, O Arjuna, the Lord dwells in the heart of all and spins through his Maya all layers of personal ties as though the universe is a complicated machinery. This comes in the chapter 11, stanza 23. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshairjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani Mayaya. This is that avartanaha. Next comes 229, Nivrittatma. So the pure self which has retreated totally. Retreating totally is Nivritta from all its identifications with matter. In short, Mahavishnu, the pure self, ever immaculate and totally free from all the sorrows of the constant modification taking place apparently in the Prakriti. So he is called as Nivritatma, the one who can exit from whatever he has done. He has this capacity as well. So to such a Lord who is Avartanaha and Nivritatma, we offer our humble salutations. Now, let's read the Dhanvantari mantra thrice. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Our humble salutations to Lord Dhanvantari. We express our sincere gratitude for giving us good health, and we pray to him to enrich our health, to seek the grace and blessings of the Lord. Now we come to the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana with the pearls of wisdom for self-realization. Now, as I mentioned to you, the last 8 shlokas, the crux of these 8 shlokas, which is the crux of the divine knowledge for self-realization, is explained. Now, it's all filled with the technical terms, Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragna, Vikari, all these are there, which you all know by now. If at all you have any doubts, I can clarify them. Okay. So now, we'll do the first and the second level. Okay, Antarika Drishyanavit, where you're seeing your thoughts. That's the first level. Second level is where Antarika Shabdhanavit, you're using the Jnana Shakti, that is the power of the mantra, and the Kriya Shakti, which is the power of your breath. With that breath and the mantra, you are in the state of the present moment. Now that is the second level, okay, where the Jiva and Paramatma, you are seeing the unification. Now after this, I will switch on the recording for you of this pearls of wisdom for self-realization. That's for about 3 minutes. And then what we do is we transcend our body, mind, and we merge into the consciousness, the supreme consciousness which has enveloped the entire universe. A very important dhyana which takes you to the highest level, where you are breaking open the shackles of your bondage with this knowledge, eyes of wisdom, eyes of knowledge. Come. Let's do it with God's grace. All of you, please be comfortably seated. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Let's take a few deep breaths. Now the first level, Antarika Drishanuvitsa Vikalpa Samadhi. Become a witness to your thoughts. Without being judgmental about your thoughts. Allow the thoughts to pass away. Now Antarika Shabdanuvitsa Vikalpa Samadhi. So now we move on to the pearls of wisdom for self-realization.
Shri Gurubhyo Namah. All the movable and immovable you see in existence is by the union of Kshetra and Kshetri. Know that the Paramatma accompanies the Atma, which is present in all beings. and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakriti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Paramatma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything but does not get contaminated, same way the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get contaminated. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Kshetra, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari and Avinashi. And also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Parabrahman, Paramatma. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Now we slowly move to Antarika, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Transcend your body, your mind. Move out from the awareness of your body. And feel the consciousness which is enveloping the entire universe. Know that consciousness to be your true self. That consciousness which is reflecting in your mind, and that reflected consciousness which gives you a sense of that I, which is false, illusory. The true I is that consciousness and consciousness alone, in which the entire creation, the entire existence, all living and non-living beings are in this pure consciousness. Ekam Advitiyam Brahman. There is none other than that Supreme Brahman Paramatma. Know that only to be the Supreme Truth and rest all our illusions, imaginations, just like your dream. Now focus on your body, your mind. Become aware of your body and mind. Bring your focus on your breath. See the air going in and out of your body. Become aware of where you are seated, the surroundings. Slowly rub your palms, place them on your eyes. Gently and calmly open your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer our humble salutations and deepest gratitude to the Almighty. We offer today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Seek His grace, mercy and blessings. Our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat.